Oh, it is good to be back at Miller Park for the Milwaukee Brewers. A 10-game road trip, and now they will host the Houston Astros. It's the first of the final 6 regular season home games of the season, and Milwaukee trying to make it a little bit more, but needs some help. The latest wild card standings, Milwaukee drops a game behind Los Angeles, but in the whole scheme of things, it's St. Louis is the target. Our pitching matchup, Edgar Gonzalez and Giovanni Gallardo. Yo trying to put the club in position to win his 12th straight start. And we shall see how it goes. Hi, everybody. I'm Craig Kashan as we welcome you back to the broadcast here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The Brewers may have lost a heartbreaker yesterday to the Cincinnati Reds, but they come home still with a shot in that wild card race. Let's take a look at the 3 teams that are still in this race right now and who they have left. Well, it's St. Louis, LA, and your Milwaukee Brewers. Everybody has home series. The Cardinals, obviously, out in the forefront. They host Washington and Cincinnati. They are the 2 top teams, however, in the National League. The Dodgers host Colorado and then their rival San Francisco. Milwaukee clearly with the easier opponents in Houston and San Diego. However, they need some help from St. Louis and the Dodgers opponents. And just to tie for the Brewers, they need the Cardinals to go 2-4 while Milwaukee wins 6 straight. Good news for the Brewers. Their opponents tonight have had little success here in Miller Park. The Astros have lost 5 of 6 here. Milwaukee scoring more than 8 runs a game. They've belted 16 home runs against the Astros in only 6 games here at Miller Park against Astros pitching. So they hope to keep that going here tonight in the first of 3. And they have to feel pretty good. In fact, great with Gallardo starting the series. The Brewer ace only wins when he's been out there in each of his last 11 starts, thanks to some good run support. Me and Rock set to take you the rest of the way.
Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. by Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, when you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. So great to be back at Miller Park, and the Brewers have their ace on the mound tonight, getting set for the final stretch. 6 games remain, and Yovani Gallardo, he'll get at least 2 of those. Gallardo, he won against the Astros on July 31st. It started this stretch of 8 consecutive wins for Gallardo, now a 16-game winner. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Good to be home. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. Always great to see Yovani Gallardo get a start. He is the Brewers' ace. You know, Doug Melvin and Gord Ash, they put all of their chips in 2 guys, Ryan Braun and Yovani Gallardo, to build an organization around. Braun's lived up to his end, and Gallardo's having another fantastic season.
Yeah, the model of consistency. Yovani Gallardo, year after year, continues to impress. It's going to be 4 straight years, 30 or more starts, 3 straight years of 200 or more innings, and 1 more strikeout here tonight, and he's going to have 200 strikeouts for the 4th consecutive year. Every time he goes out there in the mound, the Brewers have an outstanding chance to win. He's won 8 in a row. The Brewers have won every one of his last 11 starts, just continues to pound the strike zone. And ever since that start on July 31st, he has been on his game. Good guy have on the mound to start the final homestand of the year.
Well, Gallardo loves the Houston Astros. He's 13-2 career against the Astros. He starts a 3-game series. The Brewers need 6 in a row, trying to give themselves a fighting chance here. Final homestand of the year begins next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And here comes Yovani Gallardo leading the Brewers out on the field tonight. You see what he's done against the National League Central. The best as far as wins go and winning percentage against the Houston Astros. The native Texan Yovani Gallardo, 13-2 lifetime against Houston. Brewers baseball tonight. The roof is closed up on a cool night. It was a beautiful day here in Milwaukee today. And there is the interim skipper of the Houston Astros, Tony DeFrancesco. The Astros have already named their manager for next year, Bo Porter. But for now, it's DeFrancesco's gig, and here's his batting order, brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Altuve, Moore, and Lowry at the top. Maxwell, Wallace, and Castro in the middle, with Martinez, Dominguez, and Gonzalez rounding it out. And first pitch on the way to the All-Star. Altuve is in there for strike one, and away we go as we begin the final homestand of the season. 16-8 is Gallardo, an ERA of 3.59. His career best for wins is 17. He set that last season. And that didn't look like a possibility just after the All-Star break this year. But as we showed you, that victory against Houston on July 31st jump-started his season. He has not lost since late July. He's won 8 consecutive decisions, and the Brewers do a lot of winning when he's on the mound.
Yeah, not only is Giovanni 8-0 in that stretch, the Brewers are 11-0. Even in the no decisions for Gallardo, Brewers have been able to pick up wins. So good guy to have out on the mound to start the final homestand of the season.
And the Brewers know the task that is ahead of them. It is a long shot, and the odds are stacked against them. But Milwaukee knows that if they win out, they give themselves a fighting chance. That would mean the Cardinals would have to go 2-4 in their final 6 games. And then that would force a playoff, a tiebreaker scenario, as Altuve skies one into right. Aoki is there for out number 1. Well, you've met Aoki. The rest of the Brewers defensively: Gomez in center, Braun in left. An infield of Ramirez, Segura, Weeks, and Hart. And it's Martin Maldonado back behind the plate, catching his 2nd consecutive game. Rob Drake is the home plate umpire. Andy Fletcher, Joe West, and Mike McClinsky on the bases. There's the crew chief, Joe West, Country Joe West. And Gallardo's first offering to Scott Moore is a little bit low. Well, the Brewers did get some good news on Willie Peralta. He left yesterday's game with a biceps injury, and Ron Renicky said an MRI came up clean. No damage there. So it's still possible Peralta could pitch again, but only if the Brewers still have something to play for, Renicky said. And they're certainly hoping that is the case.
Yeah, just preventative, taking him out of the game when they did yesterday, and they caught it before it became too much of a problem.
A defensive swing, and it's 2-1. There's Willie Peralta.
They put together a nice start against the Cincinnati Reds after a rough start against the Nationals on the last road trip. 10-game road trip. The Brewers went 10-4. Ordinarily, that's a pretty good trip, but Brewers needed to do a little bit better. Actually 6-4.
And we're 1 out away from a 7-3 trip, and a very frustrating loss last night. The Brewers were able to, at least according to what we saw at batting practice today, put it behind them and looked like the same ball club. Spirits were up as they know they must get back to winning ways here today against Houston. The Brewers swept the Pirates, split with the Nationals in a 4-game series, and lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds. Tough trip in September.
Yeah.
And all 3 teams were over 500 at the time, and all in contention when the series were played.
And it might be, you might look at this series and say the Brewers should sweep this series, but the Astros with 51 wins, 105 losses, they're 8-6. The Brewers are against the Houston Astros. That's pretty tough. Astros have played them tough all year.
Now here in Milwaukee, the Brewers are 5-1 against Houston this season. So all but one of those wins at Minute Maid Park, as Moore fouls it away. Hangs tough. Scott Moore had a home run against Gallardo earlier this year. 2 for 9 against Giovanni. That home run came in the July 31st victory against Houston. Full count, 1 out. And Moore draws the walk. Well, let's take you back to Gallardo's last start on the road trip. It was against Washington. A lot of pitches, but Gallardo was able to get through 5 innings. Just 2 earned runs allowed. It was a great comeback for the Brewers, and That was Sunday, and the Brewers were able to beat the Nationals in Game 3 of that 4-game series.
They pitched 4 scoreless innings, but as you mentioned, he had a lot of men on base. He left a bunch of guys on base. He gave up 2 runs in his final inning, and as you mentioned, he did use a lot of pitches to get through 5.
Brewers fell behind early in that game, came back to win, had a couple of comebacks. One of them was late against Washington. A 9th inning rally against the Nationals. Jed Lowry hitting 3rd for the Astros these days. And one of their highest paid players. He's making about $1.5 million a year. Not much payroll left for this club, and all of those trades that they made, a lot of money is coming off the books for the Astros next season. Tony DeFrancesco is managing their AAA club, so he probably feels like he's managing the same club just in the big leagues right now.
And they've got a ton of guys on the bench, a lot of relievers, a lot of guys on the bench, just trying to figure out what's going on with this club going into next year. They head over to the American League next year. The American League West, that's no picnic.
It's been one of the best divisions in baseball this season, the American League West. They'll go from a 4-team division to a 5-team division, and 2 15-team leagues next season. Astros named Bo Porter as their next manager. Peculiar that they announced that with a little over a week left in the season. Porter is the 3rd base coach of the Nationals, and he'll continue with Washington throughout their playoff run. There's a strike called on the outside corner. Lowry is rung up, and Gallardo's first strikeout.
No, the fastball has been a good pitch for him in this stretch. He's locating it extremely well, and it looked as though Rob Drake gave him the benefit of a call. Looked like it might have been low, looked like it might have been away, but Martin Maldonado, who gets his 2nd consecutive start behind home plate, made it look pretty good.
Well, in a season full of milestones, Gallardo just collects his 200th strikeout of the season.
Yep, for the 4th straight year.
It's impressive. No Brewer pitcher had ever done it more than twice. Teddy Higuera did it 2 times, and as far as active pitchers goes, consecutive seasons with 200 Ks, Gallardo is on a pretty exclusive list here with Lincecum, Halladay, Cy Young Award winners, MVP and Cy Young Award winner Verlander, and Felix Hernandez, a Cy Young Award winner. So there's a theme there with Gallardo, but he kind of slips under the radar a little bit to some of those pitchers.
And not only do you have to have good stuff, but you have to stay healthy. Gallardo now with 4 consecutive years or 30 or more starts, 3 years in a row of 200 innings. That's why he's been able to rack up those strikeout totals.
Big Justin Maxwell at the plate for Houston. And a snap throw to first. Back in time is Scott Moore. Count goes to a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, loves to throw the baseball, does Martin Maldonado. Not afraid to throw to the bases, try to pick a guy off. He's been throwing the baseball very well.
Ball and 2 strikes with 2 away. Maxwell is the Astros' best active run producer. 50 RBIs. Leads the club among active players. JD Martinez leads the team, but he's out for the season after wrist surgery. Slow roll to 3rd. Ramirez has to hurry. Throw to first is in time for the out. Close play at first base. Brewers look like they got a break, as Ramirez guns down Maxwell to end the top of the 1st. Gallardo with his 200th strikeout and a bang play at first. manager a lot of credit. Brewers could have folded up 10 and just played this one out. They were 12 games under it on the 19th of August, but they have turned it around. They've played great baseball lately. Ron Renicki's batting order today looks like this, with Nori Aoki, Ricky Weeks, and Ryan Braun. In the middle of the order, it's Ramirez, Hart, and Maldonado. Carlos Gomez, Gene Segura, and Giovanni Gallardo will round it out. And that's the batting order that will face another Mexican-born pitcher, Edgar Gonzalez, who is 2-1 as an Astro this year and a 3.94 ERA. Had to leave his last start with a leg injury, but apparently he's okay. He made a successful between start side session, and he's ready to make another start here tonight.
Yeah, that start, he only went an inning and 2/3 in a Houston win against the Pirates. This guy's been in parts of 9 different major league seasons with 4 different clubs. He's making his 7th career appearance against Milwaukee, and his first appearance against the Brewers came all the way back in 2003.
How about that? It has been a while. And strike one to Aoki. Talk about a road well traveled here. Edgar Gonzalez. As Aoki takes a ball off the plate. Yeah, he's bounced around between a couple of organizations affiliated. He went to the Mexican League. Astros re-signed him. He was making some starts down in AAA, and there's just not a lot of healthy bodies in the Astros system top to bottom. So he's the guy who gets the call, and you know he's going to make the most of his opportunities here in the big leagues.
And not a guy that throws very hard. Talking to Johnny Nairn, he tries to mix it up. He throws a number of different off-speed pitches, tries to keep you off balance. 78 miles an hour right there with a changeup.
Well, it should be a familiar array of stuff against Nori Aoki. Aoki in Japan has seen a lot of off-speed pitches. And there's a strike with a fastball. That's about as much as you'll get out of the fastball from Gonzalez, 88 miles an hour. Aoki's had a huge month of September, a 303 average, and he has 17 extra base hits. That ball's hit well, center field. Maxwell makes the play for the out, one gone. Check the rest of the Astros defensively. Fernando Martinez and Scott Moore playing Maxwell in the outfield. Then you got Dominguez at third, Lowry, Altuve, Fred Wallace around the horn. Jason Castro does the catching, and Gonzalez on the mound. The Menards Astros defense.
Yeah, been a rough year defensively for the Astros. Third most errors in the National League, 113 of them. Colorado Rockies with 122 errors. That's the most in the league. A lot of different faces, a lot of different players for the Astros, and their defense has not been very good.
Ricky Weeks on the first pitch, long run. Moore will run it down. Out number 2. And that'll bring up Ryan Braun with 2 away. Continues to make a very strong case for his 2nd consecutive National League Most Valuable Player award. Braun with 41 home runs leads the league. Corey Hart has 28. Ramirez 26. Weeks with a 20 homer season, and Gomez hopes to join him. And the team that leads the league in home runs in the National League as Braun takes a ball.
And Brewers have an 8 home run lead over the Washington Nationals. A pretty good chance. 6 games left. 6 home runs. They have 200 for the season. That's a nice benchmark.
Slow roller out to second base, and Braun is retired. A 1-2-3 inning for Edgar Gonzalez.
Thursday's game in Cincinnati with tightness in his right bicep, had an MRI. It came back negative. It was just fine. He played catch today. He'll throw a bullpen session tomorrow. Ron Meneke says after the 3-game series, if the team is still in the hunt, there is a chance Peralta could start in the Padres series next week. But if the Brewers are out of it, Peralta would have to be at 100% to go out for another start. Guys, the team not taking any chances with their promising 23-year-old pitcher.
And you can't blame him. He is the #1 prospect in the Brewers organization, and you see those two sitting there, Fiers and Peralta. They have given this organization some new life as far as young pitching goes, and you start to think about a rotation that is fronted by Gallardo and these pieces that have been so good this year coming out of the minor league system, like Fiers and Peralta and Mark Rogers, and there is plenty of excitement moving forward.
And you can't forget about Marco Estrada, how good he's been this year. Maybe go out and get another starting pitcher, strengthen that rotation. Got a lot of reasons to be very encouraged for next year. Not to say that this year's over, but regardless of what happens, the way the Brewers have played the last 6 weeks.
Brad Wallace leading off for Houston. And a 2-2 count on the Astros first baseman. The man who was acquired to replace Lance Berkman a couple of seasons ago when Berkman was traded to the Yankees. So many big names, familiar names, no longer with the Astros as Gallardo strikes out Wallace, his second K. And both have been looking. Just to finish up on Peralta, he looked great yesterday. He bounced right back after a disappointing start in Washington against the Nationals. He came back and showed electric stuff once again. He went into the 6th inning, 5 1/3 total, no runs. He gave up just 2 hits yesterday.
Only allowed 1 man in scoring position, was able to strand in, but it's certainly a nice bounce back start after a rough one against the Nationals.
Just 23 years of age. He'll be heading back to the Dominican Republic at the end of the season. Brewers have a facility down there, which is in operation now for a year, and a lot of the Dominican players, a lot of the Latin players can go work out, participate at that facility. I'm not sure if Peralta will or not, but it's certainly available for him. There's a strike, 2 balls and 1 strike on Jason Castro. Young prospect catcher. Everybody's young on this team. They have the youngest ball club in the major leagues.
And pretty good catch and throw guy behind home plate. He was hurt the last time the Brewers were in Houston.
Well, the Astros have used 11 rookies this season, and the youngest active major league roster, an average age of 26.3, 26 years of age. That's what they average. And Castro draws the walk. Second walk issued by Gallardo.
Come out to Miller Park this Sunday as the Brewers take on these Astros. Everyone's a winner, as all fans in attendance will receive a scratch-off card revealing great prizes. Visit Brewers.com/fan appreciation for details. And looking at this crowd, we do appreciate our fans here in Milwaukee. Very disappointing crowds in Cincinnati. There's a team that's won the division. Not here.
Yeah, they struggle to get 20,000 every night in Cincinnati. And it really makes you appreciate how good the fans are here, how loyal, how passionate they are. It shows up. The players talk about it all the time. Trust us. We get on the road and it resonates with the players. And that was a big part of the discussion around the batting cage today. Asking what kind of crowds will be here over the weekend. And it's a great place to play baseball. I was talking to Tony DeFrancesco, the Astros manager. It's his first time here at Miller Park. And he's had a long career managing in the minor leagues. And he was in awe of the place. Said, I love the town. He went jogging all around the Summerfest grounds and spent some time in Milwaukee, and just the feel of the ballpark for batting practice. Said this is a place that you could get used to here. He was asking all kinds of questions about the crowds and how the roof closes. He was even amazed at watching the roof close today.
Yeah, the fan roof. They have the roof at Minute Maid Park that just kind of comes across in one piece.
It is fun to show it off, isn't it? You know, a guy gets here for the first time, and I'm sure all of you out there, when you have visitors, come watch a game at Miller Park, and you can talk about some of the nuances here. And they've got a good team to watch, and the Brewers are hoping for one more miracle. Little cue shot off the bat of Martinez, and down he goes, out number 2. I think the Brewers, to a man, feel like if they could make it to the postseason, they could win a World Series. I mean, they feel like they have the kind of ball club that could do it.
Well, they're playing as well as anybody in the National League right now. I think every team knows that. I think that teams that are in the playoffs are keeping one eye on Milwaukee. Milwaukee gets in, a red hot team playing well, all aspects of the game going well, but they're going to have to get lucky.
Now remember, the Cardinals were 3 games out last year with 5 to play. Not only made it, but they made it in outright, didn't have to play a tiebreaker, and then they went on to win the World Series. Sometimes the hot team can do damage. That's why so many wild card teams win the World Series. We'll see how it is affected this season with the different wild card format.
They're used to playing games as though they're the last game that you're going to play that day or that year. You lose a game, you're done. That's kind of the mentality that teams go right down to the wire once they get into the playoffs. You get that mentality and you don't feel the pressure as much.
Matt Dominguez batting 8th in this Astros order. Runner at second, and Dominguez takes a strike. The Brewers have won 26 out of their last 36 games. So they're 26-10 over that stretch. That loss yesterday dropped them behind the Dodgers in the wild card race. Los Angeles beat San Diego, so they're 3 back of the Cardinals. While the Brewers are 4 back. Dodgers are at home against the Rockies, and then they'll play the Giants at Dodger Stadium, their final games. Brewers definitely have a schedule advantage, but being 4 back, they're going to need a whole lot of help. Cardinals will have the Nationals and the Reds. Next series at Busch Stadium.
Cardinals and Dodgers are going to have to lose.
There's a base hit to center. Coming around is Castro. He'll try to score. The throw cut off. And the out at second base to end the inning. But the Astros take the lead. A 2-out RBI single by Matt Dominguez. And it's 1-0 Houston. a more appropriate song there never was. Bombs Away. That's been the story of the season for the Brewers. 194 team home runs. They lead the National League. Got a chance to not only lead the National League in home runs, but stolen bases as well this year. That has not been done since 1996. The Colorado Rockies the last to do it. That is a rare feat and shows a lot of power and speed in your batting order. Up and down this lineup, seeing some monster years from players, including Aramis Ramirez, who starts the second inning. Ramirez with 26 home runs, 100 runs batted in. A .295 hitter coming into play today. There's an old saying in baseball, the media guy doesn't lie, and that just fits right in with every other season he's had in the big leagues.
Yeah, he's been something else. As bad as the start he got off to, and there's his numbers. That's like he does every single year. That's a term Dale Swaim used quite a bit.
Ramirez in his first year with the Brewers. He signed a 3-year contract this offseason. Gave up a little salary this year. It kicks in next season, but he was able to structure that contract because he wanted to play in Milwaukee. Felt like the team was a postseason caliber ball club and was going to be. He really wanted to play alongside Ryan Braun, and they have formed the best run producing tandem in the National League this year. Ramirez and Braun.
And when you add Corey Hart to the mix, that's the best run producing trio in the National League.
Ramirez already with a career high in doubles with 50. He's 3 doubles shy of a franchise record, chasing Lyle Overbay's mark of 53 set back in 2004 here at Miller Park. He won the Silver Slugger Award last year as the top hitting third baseman, and looks like he's headed for another one this season. Might have some competition in Chase Headley. Headley's had a great year, second in the league in RBIs. A swing and a miss. So Edgar Gonzalez has retired the first 4, his first strikeout to start the second. You can double your sports viewing tonight with Fox Sports Wisconsin, and while you're watching us here, you can keep an eye on all the high school football action as well. Our Plus channel has Evansville taking on Jefferson, while online at foxsportswisconsin.com you can watch Winneconne and Fox Valley Lutheran, or Two Rivers doing battle with Kewaskum. So Evansville and Jefferson right now. Corey Hart with 1 away. Broken bat, soft liner out to Wallace for out number 2.
Well, you really have to stay back on Gonzalez, because if you try and pull the baseball, he's going to have a pretty good night. Adds a little, takes a little off, changes speeds pretty well. He can be pretty tough if he keeps the baseball down, which he's done so far.
Martin Maldonado with 2 away. Astros lead 1-0 on a 2-out RBI single by Matt Dominguez. It's been a long homerless drought for Martin Maldonado. He's been able to maintain a good batting average. His playing time has been cut short since the return of Jonathan Lucroy. But he comes in hitting .271 with 7 homers. Maldonado's last home run was August 14th. And I noticed today, Rocky's going without his batting gloves.
Yeah, he took them off in the middle of an at-bat yesterday. He had 2 strikes on him. Pulled the batting gloves off and continued his at bat. That's not something you see very often.
I mean, as a hitter, that's just a completely different feel.
Yeah.
But he did it mid at bat. 2-2 on Maldonado.
Sometimes it's a very subtle change that you make that's going to turn things around for you as far as getting that feel up to the plate. Not just sometimes when you hold your hands or moving around in the batter's box a little bit. Just take the batting gloves off. You start getting into a hot streak. Hitters will do anything and to feel comfortable up the plate.
Every hitter I've ever known who does not wear batting gloves says the reason why is because they want to feel the bat. Sometimes the gloves don't give you that same feel, the feel of the bat in your hands. And of course he's got a lot of pine tar on that as well, and doesn't need quite as much with the bare hands.
I always felt as though with the batting gloves on, the bat felt lighter in your hands, and you didn't have to deal with the pine tar on your throwing hand when you're back behind home plate.
Bouncing ball to third, and Dominguez makes the play to end the inning. Edgar Gonzalez has retired the first 6. 1-0 Astros. The official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine.
1-0 Astros, top 3 back at Miller Park. Mark Attanasio with Brewers Chief Operating Officer Rick Schlesinger. Rick, great to see you here, and fan appreciation weekend, a lot going on.
Starts out with a Sella tonight. We've got a car given away, Chevy Camaro tomorrow night, scratch-off cards on Sunday, rally towels all 3 games. Ryan Braun and John Axford gave away 5,000 tickets for Sunday's game. So, we have great crowds all year. Let's have a strong finish. Let's see what can happen, and the crowds are going to be here.
What is the ticket availability looking like for the rest of the homestand?
We've got some tickets for tomorrow and Sunday. Sunday will be a little tougher ticket than Saturday night, actually. And then good tickets for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And our goal is to make those games meaningful, relevant, and exciting.
Rick, always a pleasure. Thanks. We appreciate it. Yep. There we have it, guys. The Brewers showing their appreciation for some of the best fans in Major League Baseball all weekend.
Yes, indeed. And our thanks to Rick Schlesinger. And he brought up John Axford and Ryan Braun. I talked to Axford today, and that's a really impressive gesture by those two. And they came together. They said, we want to do something. They got together with the front office and said, let's buy some tickets. Let's create some free ticket opportunities for some folks. And they did that, and it was a nice move as Altuve lines one into left center for a base hit. Well, this guy has worn out the Brewers pitching staff this year.
Yes, he has. Good, solid hitter. You know, not much of a power threat, although he does have a home run against Milwaukee right here at Miller Park. Actually hit that one to right center. The home run. Got a fastball, hits it hard. Nice short stroke for Altuve. Not very big, but he can hit.
He's hitting .446 against the Brewers this season. His overall batting average is .292. By far and away the toughest out. And it's always fun to watch Altuve stand up next to Corey Hart. It's kind of like me standing up next to Rock every night.
No, not quite that bad. And he does have 33 stolen bases as well, so he's a threat on the bases to steal.
Scott Moore at the plate takes a strike. Astros lead 1-0. They scored in the second. And an RBI single from Matt Dominguez. Moore's got some pop at his bat. He has 9 home runs, just 185 at bats. And he is having a huge September. As a matter of fact, Scott Moore leads every other major league hitter in the month of September with a .441 batting average.
And he's sitting at 265. That gives you a sense of where he was before that stretch. Having a tough time at the plate.
Into center field. Gomez broke in. Now going back. He's got it. And a line drive out for the second out of the inning. That'll give us a chance to look at our carsoup.com email the booth question. It comes from Jim in Sheboygan. What has impressed you most about Gallardo over this unbeaten streak? The fact that he hasn't lost.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say. I mean, I think that the reason that he's been so good is his command of his fastball, both in and out. He's been able to get ahead in the count with that pitch. And he puts himself in a position to get that curveball over for the put-away pitch. And really, throughout this streak, there have been games where he really hasn't had a good curveball. His fastball has been so good as far as his command.
We always get the questions about, what is Gallardo's best pitch? And he does have a plus curveball. He throws a slider, calls it a cutter. Used to throw a great changeup. We don't see many of those anymore, but it all comes down to the fastball with Gallardo. And
like every pitcher, really. It's no different.
His mechanics are so good. And I remember when he first was called up, Mike Maddox was the pitching coach, and he raved about this young kid. Said this guy has mechanics to be a very durable big league starter. And boy, has that ever proved true. 4 consecutive years of 200 strikeouts or more.
Uses his legs very well. He pushes off that pitching rubber and takes a lot of pressure off of his elbow and his shoulder. Guys that don't use their legs very well use that stand-up style. That's a lot of wear and tear on the elbow.
With the completion of the second inning, Gallardo is now over 200 innings again. Starting pitchers wear it like a badge of courage to give their club at least 30 starts, at least 200 innings. Gallardo gives you the added benefit of big strikeout numbers. Gallardo will make his final start of the season on the last day of the regular season next Wednesday. As Lowry fouls it away. I know a lot of fans just look at the pitching rotation and make their decisions whether they're coming to a game or not in person based on the starter, and Gallardo's been one of those must-see guys, especially in the second half of the season. We said this coming on the air today, but the Brewers took a chance, and it's risky when you lock up young players to long-term deals, but they took a shot securing Ryan Braun and Giovanni Gallardo. And Boy, has it ever paid off in a big way.
And they're self-motivators. It really doesn't matter what the team is doing. It is a team game, and they're very concerned about wins and losses, but that's not what motivates them. The professionalism of both Gallardo and Braun, a lot of the Brewers for that matter. I mean, they're motivated by just doing well and doing the job and getting the job done. Those are the kind of guys you want to give long-term deals.
Runner goes 3-2 is lined into left field, a base hit. Altuve on his way to third, and Braun will make the play to second. Well, he saw Altuve take off, but Braun playing it safe here. Didn't want to see another runner advance.
Yeah, good piece of hitting by Lowry. Goes down and gets it. It was on a corner, but it was up. Nice job serving it into left field. Altuve very aggressive on the bases. Gets into third base, but Braun goes to second.
So first and third, Gallardo in a little bit of trouble once again with 2 outs. Astros scored their first run with 2 away. And threatening here, Justin Maxwell. A big power threat at the plate. And you can understand why with a swing like that. Where's number 44 for Hammer and Hank?
Did a nice job in these situations. Runners in scoring position.
He has one of the longest home runs on record this season. Did that in Colorado this year. He's a big man, 6'5", 230. Fills up that batter's box. There's strike 2.
It's been pretty much a season-long tryout camp for the Houston Astros. Every one of their young players. Organization trying to figure out what they have going into the season and going into the offseason to see what pieces they might want to pick up. Well, you know that guy's going to be back at second base. Lowry will be at short. Other than that, who knows?
1-2 and a swing and a miss. Gallardo on a cut fastball, breaking away from Maxwell, and he strikes him out to end the inning. Giovanni with 4 Ks strands a pair of Astros. Still 1-0 Houston.
Minute and it's our time now to take the pulse of social media. It's Fan Appreciation Weekend here at Miller Park all weekend, and today earlier John Axford and Ryan Braun showed their thanks for Brewers fans by purchasing 5,000 tickets for Sunday's game and making them available to fans on the Brewers website. So tonight we ask you, as the Brewers begin the final homestand of the season, what do fans like most about coming to Miller Park? You can tweet us at FS Wisconsin with the hashtag Miller Park, and BA and Rock, we know we'll be seeing at least 5,000 fans here with Braun and Axford's gift to them, but hope to see many more over the next few games.
Yeah, you can bet on that. That is a nice touch. Thank you, Sophia. Looking forward to the final homestand of the year as Carlos Gomez leads off.
We'll sell out tonight. Yeah, hope that we get close to that over the weekend and through the rest of the homestand here. Just can't say enough about what these fans mean to this team. Tremendous home record for the Brewers each and every year. 46-29 coming into tonight.
Gomez, deep right field. He'll watch it fly. Carlos Gomez with number 18. All tied at 1. Created the only run of the game yesterday for the Brewers with a homer. That was an opposite field home run. And he puts Milwaukee on the board tonight.
Gomez having a tremendous season. A breakout season for him. Got a slider, cut fastball that didn't do much, and Gomez, he lets that ball in there, and he turns on it, and we're all tied. Carlos Gomez, 2 home runs in the last 2 days, counting for all the offense for Milwaukee.
All tied at 1. Here is Gene Segura. Carlos Gomez hit .394 on the road trip to raise his average to .258. Getting played tonight, and a home run, number 18, his 50th RBI. Bouncing ball in the hole, backhanded by Lowry, and he takes care of Segura for the first out. It's been another bright spot for the Brewers. Gomez, after all of these years, has now finally played his way into an everyday center field job. He has had a terrific year. Most home runs he ever hit was 8, but he's got a chance this year, Rock. Not just to hit 20 homers, but to steal 40 bases. Mike Trout is the only other big leaguer to do that combination this year, a 20-40 season.
He's got 36. 36 stolen bases for Gomez, and he's only been caught 6 times.
If he keeps hitting home runs, his stolen base opportunities are going to go way down.
He's all right with that.
Just think back to what Dale Swaim always said, though, when Dale was here as the hitting coach. He always told Gomez, look, you're a power hitter. Everything you do is with power. He runs with power. He throws with power. I said, go ahead, be a power hitter. You take a big swing and you hit it off the end of the bat and dribble one to first, you're going to be safe because of your great speed.
Every other organization was looking for him to shorten up, hit the ball on the ground, and that just is not the way he goes about doing things. If you're going to sink or swim, do it the way you want to do it.
2-2 the count on Gallardo. A matchup of Mexican-born pitchers here. Although Gallardo was raised in Texas. Arrived in Texas at the age of 3. As he pops up to Altuve. Out number 2. Well, this week it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. You got the Lions and the Vikings. They'll get the day started, and then in America's game of the week, the Saints take on Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field. Coverage begins with a Built Ford Top Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at 11 a.m. Need to find out what Nori Aoki thinks about American football and the NFL. He was not pleased about the conclusion to the Packer game on Monday night.
He wasn't?
No, he's very upset about that. Aoki fouls it away.
Was that because everybody else in the locker room was upset?
Yes. So he's very good at kind of modeling what everybody else does, the mood, the reaction.
Right.
He just walk around the clubhouse like raising his hands going, I don't get it. We've been fortunate to be around Aoki all season, and we see him outside the lines, on the buses, the planes. This guy is full of personality. He is a funny guy. Loves to laugh and have a good time. Bouncer out to Lowry. Makes a quick transfer to throw Aoki out to end the inning. But Carlos Gomez, with every home run, he establishes a new career high. Number 18 for Gomez, all tied at 1. Bottom of the third, and we head to the fourth inning now. All square with the Astros, and Mark Attanasio joins us here in the booth, and we're looking forward to catching up with the Brewers owner. And there's a lot to talk about here. First and foremost, you look around, this place is packed on a Friday night. We've been talking about the fan support throughout the broadcast so far today, but it really brings it into light when you go on a 10-game road trip and you come home and you see this kind of enthusiasm for a club.
Yeah, we played some pretty good teams on the road, and you saw the support in those stadiums, and it's good, but nothing like Miller Park.
Yeah, it's such a great venue. And what were your expectations on the business side coming into the year, and have they met those expectations? We don't get to talk business too much. We talk about the club, but is everybody where you wanted them to be at this point?
Yeah, we're mostly where we want to be. I think it's baseball is different than other businesses because it's really kind of like a rolling 2 or 3 year basis, and you can't really take a snapshot at any one point in time like you can in a manufacturing company, for example.
Ball and 2 strikes on Brett Wallace.
Obviously, the fan support we get again over this year, over 2.8 million fans, just phenomenal. I can't even tell you how good. As bad as I felt yesterday, around 1 o'clock California time, I felt good tonight, sitting in the seats, looking around Miller Park to a sellout crowd here.
Yeah, upper third in the National League in attendance. That's really got to make you feel good. I mean, the team wasn't playing all that well throughout the year, but a good finish. But the crowd, the fans, just continue to come out.
And what they've been able to see, Rock, over the last 30 days is some really terrific baseball, and frankly some terrific baseball led by some of our younger players. Tonight, who would have thought 6 months ago you'd see Gene Segura at shortstop and Martin Maldonado catching?
Yeah, when Segura just got called up, I mean, the Brewers didn't think they were going to really be doing anything. The team was about 12 games under. All of a sudden, they just wanted to see what he could do at the big league level. All of a sudden, now he's playing in meaningful games and doing a pretty good job.
Right, and you know, showing some leadership too behind the plate. So
line drive into left. Braun makes the play as Castro lines out. Tell us about the process from your seat when the Zach Greinke deal was going down, and obviously you have to be the one to sign off on that. But you know, at that point, what was going through your mind? What were you thinking about the players in return as you were listening to all this information?
Well, you know, Doug, one of the things about that, and I think we talked about it at the time, was that I think Doug Melvin had 15 different people working on that between scouts and his baseball folks, and they sat in the war room for like nine nights. I mean, they were, one night I remember John Daniels from the Rangers called as general manager there, and it was like midnight here, and we had like 12 guys in the room, you know, and John's like, I'm going to bed. And Doug said, well, we're not. And so my involvement with that was just to help them think through the auction process. What he really did was created an auction among several teams, a couple of which, frankly, weren't even mentioned.
That ball's hit hard down the line by Martinez and just out of the reach of Braun, and it bounces out. So that will save the Brewers a run for now as Martinez doubles down the left field line. Wallace was at first base, so place him at third, and runners at second and third with one away for Dominguez.
Hey, regardless, Mark, of how things turn out, you know, this week, whether the team gets that final wild card spot, I mean, the way this team has played the last 6 weeks has got to make you feel pretty good going into next year.
Yeah, we want to finish these games out strong, Rock, but a lot of encouragement for next year. You know, all of a sudden we got, you know, terrific young pitchers who performed in the pennant race. Had some more young pitchers coming behind them in the minor leagues, and guys like, you know, Segura and Maldonado, and practically Logan Schaefer showed us something here as a pinch hitter, and not to mention some of our, you know, our regulars are all stepping up. Carlos Gomez, you know, almost single-handedly won that game yesterday. And so you know, I'm very encouraged for next year.
Yeah, you didn't know what you're going to get out of Oki. He's been a nice surprise. I mean, he's played well. He's been hitting for power all of a sudden, and you know, going into next year, I mean, you got to figure, you know, Corey Hart over at first. You don't know what's going to happen with Gamble, but you know, position player-wise, things looking pretty good. Yeah,
I think right now the way the depth chart looks is what you're seeing tonight is Corey at first and Norrie in right field. You know, Matt has told Ron, which is great, that he just, all he wants to do is make the team, and he'll do whatever it takes. First base, third base, right field, wherever he needs to be helpful, and that's, you know, very constructive. And by the way, Matt showed us a lot while he was up this year.
Oh, he can hit, yeah.
He can hit and he can run a little bit.
Well, Matt Gamble lost for the season in early May with an ACL injury. And did a diligent job to rehab. Bouncer to Segura, bobbles, and now kicks it away, and a run will come in. Runner advancing to throw to third is late. So that one kind of blew up in Segura's face there. He had a clean play at the plate if he comes up with the baseball cleanly.
Yeah, not sure he had to charge it like he did. You know, he's hit pretty well, a couple of hops, and check it out. He's playing in. He tried to get the big hop, just couldn't get it. And because he kicked it, Martinez is able to get to third base. Could very well be a double error. Who knows? An error allowing Dominguez to get to first, and another error to allow the man to get to third base.
For now, an E6 and an RBI for Dominguez. One out, runners at the corners. Astros have regained the lead here, 2-1. And the pitcher Gonzalez up there to bunt. And he bunts it foul. Well, Mark, we were, you know, going through these young players. Does the success of the young players change your financial strategy going into next season and concerning free agents, players you'll sign? Have things changed based on what you've seen this year?
Yeah, I think, and again, we need to, you know, Doug and his group had and including the field staff had a meeting in Pittsburgh on a Tuesday, I think the 18th. Reviewed everything, but you know, there's still another 2 weeks left in the season, and you know, we log in every game. Gene Segura, like we saw there, I think we got to realize he's going to make some mistakes. Unfortunately, that's the excitement he brings. He's, we have to balance that versus, a guy like Alex Gonzalez who could come back.
There's a bunt. It's a good one, and Hart falls down. No play anywhere. As Hart slipped and fell, that took the option for an out at first base away. It was a perfectly placed bunt by Gonzalez, and it scores the third Astros run. Give him a hit.
And that'll be a base hit and an RBI. Once Corey goes down, no chance at first base. Not sure what Dominguez was doing over at third, because it looked as though he had an opportunity to get thrown out.
Well, the pitcher comes up with a bunt single, and the run batted in. Back to the top of the order now, and Jose Altuve. 2 on, 1 out, 2 runs in, and the free swinging Altuve fouls it back.
Actually, that was Martinez at third base. Having a tough time keeping track here, Mark.
Yeah, there's a lot of
base runners. Yeah,
a lot of base runners ending in Z.
That's true.
I think the last 2 balls went a grand total of 90 feet. It's a little. The game could be a little frustrating at times.
It's a humbling game, if there ever was one. The most humbling game. We'll see if Gallardo can get through this. Chance here. Ramirez to the bag for 1 to throw. Hart, no, doesn't get the tag on him. Throws up the line a little bit. Looked like Hart had a play. But Altuve just does beat it out. Get past the tag of Hart to continue the inning.
Yeah, about a step and a half for Ramirez to go to third base. I think he thought maybe to go to second, but Altuve gets down that line pretty good. And Ramirez a little bit upset with himself. Throw off the line. Corey Hart thought he had the tag on his back, but Andy Fletcher, the first base umpire, did not agree. Actually got the leg. Yep, out.
Safe is the call.
I tell you, the Brewers have not been the beneficiary of the calls on the bases the last week or so.
Yeah, particularly that road trip.
This would be a good look at it here as the Exmo and glove was there.
Yeah, clearly Corey Hart had the tag. It looked as though Corey could have stayed on the bag as well.
So 2 on with 2 away, and a little bouncer back to Gallardo, and that will retire the side. More with Mark Attanasio when we continue. Brewers are coming up, down a pair.
Astros 3-1 here at Miller Park. Bottom four crew in the community now. Fans can vote for the 2012 Clemente Award winner, and Brewer fans can vote for that guy, Ricky Weeks, through October 14th. Nominees selected for their work in the community in addition to their ability on the field. Ricky, the Brewer nominee. Vote for Ricky at MLB.com/Clemente Award. Fans who vote registered for a chance to win a trip to the World Series. So, guys, you vote for Ricky, maybe go to the Fall Classic. Let's go back to BA, Rock, and the boss, Brewer owner Mark Attanasio.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark. And good for Ricky Weeks. That's something that I'm sure you're proud of, and you've seen your players under your ownership really step up their community efforts. And I know Ricky Weeks is very proud to be the Clemente nominee this year for the Brewers.
A real honor for Ricky, and great to have him representing us. Brewers Community Foundation, I believe we put over $2 million a year into the community, over 200 organizations, and that's among the many things I feel good about. That's near the top of the list.
Yeah, that was one of your top priorities when you bought the ball club, to make sure that this organization was connected with the community in a lot of different ways, and you've certainly been able to accomplish that.
And I was a little frustrated in the early going, Rock, because with everything I was trying to get done, that kind of slipped a little bit to the back. And frankly, my wife Debbie really got on my case about it. So when are you going to do something with, Brewers Community Foundation? And actually, which part of it was then it was called Brewers Charities to rebrand things. So I give Debbie a lot of credit for really getting that in the right direction. She and I gave $1 million to kickstart things, which also really was at her encouraging.
How's Debbie been holding up in this?
Oh, you can see her there. She's not holding up too good.
She wears every pitch. More so than you do.
Yeah, she's she's a passionate fan.
Yeah.
And you can see it. And I think we're going to be okay tonight, frankly. But until we get a 6-run lead, Debbie's not coming. So.
Visiting with Mark Attanasio as we play in the bottom of the fourth inning. The Astros just scored twice to regain the lead, and Ricky Weeks is rung up. Down he goes on strikes, and one away here in the fourth. And a good time to bring up one of our open discussions today that Rock and I were pointing out. And certainly you can speak to this as you're the one writing the checks, but you guys made an effort to secure a lot of young talent when it was at a time early in their careers when it's very risky to do so. And Ryan Braun and Giovanni Gallardo come to mind as the two faces and the two players that you've built an organization around, and both have just paid off in extraordinary ways already.
Yeah, they get the most attention in that way, both because of their performance and for when we made the decision. Also, those signed Ricky and Ricky Weeks and Corey Hart, and more recently Jonathan Lucroy, I believe through his last arbitration year through one free agent year. It may have been through one free agent year. So, and that's something Doug and his group are looking at all the time now for our next wave of young players and whether we want to try to lock them up long term or not.
Well, it's nice to be able to say when you're in negotiations with a young player who's showing some promise, like Lucroy. Hey, it worked for Ryan Braun. That's not a bad example to set. And the fact that Ryan made a commitment here and wants to be here long term. And it used to be a day when free agents were hard to come by, and signing your players long term. Everybody remembers Gary Sheffield and Greg Vaughn, all these big names that would just come and go. But you've been able to change the culture here in that regard. How so?
Well, change the culture, first of all, by trying to turn it into a winning culture. One of the things I was talking to Ron Renicky about before the game is we had a very similar season in a way in terms of its record in 2007, where we were in first place for 140 days, but we ended up with 83 wins. And
as Braun bounces out 4 out number 2.
And in that season, frankly, and we were all of us who were here, we were just happy to get those 83 wins. What you have now is a club which you should Knockwood gets 83 wins or more, and nobody's happy about where we are. Right. You just saw Ron, and everybody wants to be even more in the thick of the playoffs. Everybody thinks this team is a playoff team, and nobody's satisfied with 83, 85 win season and missing the playoffs. And so that's a real culture change. It's an important culture change. I think that's one of the reasons that guys want to, guys like Aramis Ramirez, who's batting now, wanted to come here, and guys like Ryan Braun and Giovanni Gallardo wanted to stay here.
Were you a little nervous early in the season with Rami? But he certainly turned things around. I mean, that's kind of been his history.
I had convinced myself that Rami, because he had played in cold weather, was going to hit here in April.
Right. Maybe we should tell him next year that opening day is actually June 1st. We'll trick his calendar. That's down the line, knocked down by Dominguez to his feet, and makes a terrific play to end the inning. Mark, always great to see you, and let's hope for the best here this weekend.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, guys.
Great insights from Mark Attanasio, the Brewers owner. Stay with us. We're heading to the 5th. Brewers down 3-1. Head to the 5th inning. Good to catch up, spend a few minutes with Mark Attanasio. I know he's the ultimate fan, right? He's the owner, and I know he's been really taking these losses tough. But good to kind of get a broad brush on some of the other stuff that's going on. And I know he doesn't like talking about next season so much, but gives you an idea where the Brewers are headed this offseason. And I like the fact that some minds have been changed on the progression of the organization, at least the money they'll spend and where they'll spend it, and because of what they've seen.
Yeah, and the organization's been rewarded by bringing up some kids that are relatively young. And, basically the Brewers organization has had a policy of keeping guys down in the minor leagues, maybe a year longer than they needed to be, but that's just to make sure that they were ready to come up. So this year they decided to bring a couple of kids up. You get Peralta up here, and you bring Segura, and they're proving to be pretty good acquisitions.
I don't know about you, but I'm starting to see that trend in baseball all across the league. Look at what the A's are doing. Look at Baltimore bringing up a 20-year-old Manny Machado. I mean, Mike Trout being called up at age 20. Bryce Harper at 19.
It's becoming a young man's game. It really is. As far as money goes, you save some money and maybe to fill in some key pieces to your roster with some youngsters that aren't making a whole lot. That's what the game's coming to.
Keeps costs down. It means teams can be competitive with smaller payrolls. The Brewers do not have a smaller payroll anymore. They have a payroll at around $100 million. It's incredible for a market size like Milwaukee. But the strong drug policy in Major League Baseball, performance enhancing drug policy, has really changed the complexion of the game. There's a strike call. Gallardo coming out with a little bit of purpose here in the 5th. 2 quick outs as he picks up Yet another strikeout. That's his 5th.
Our GMC keys to the game. The Astros got on the board in the 2nd inning. A Matt Dominguez single scoring Castro, and then it was a Gomez home run that tied it up. Bottom to the 3rd, his 18th. And then the Brewers had some problems defensively. Segura with the error, and then Corey Hart falling down on a bunt. The pitcher Gonzalez with a base hit and an RBI. And right now the Astros have a 3-1 lead.
It's getting messy in St. Louis tonight. The Cardinals scored 5 in the 1st, 4 in the 2nd, and they lead 9-1 over the Nationals. Edwin Jackson has a night to forget tonight.
A former Cardinal.
Well, the Nationals are starting to feel the heat. The Braves are right on their heels right now. Washington did win last night, and they have a 4-game lead with 6 to play, but the Braves are red hot.
Yeah, they won 5 straight.
While Edwin Jackson is having a night to forget, Homer Bailey of the Reds perhaps a night to remember tonight. Rockies 2 outs away from a no-hitter against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Homer Bailey, 4th on the depth chart for Cincinnati. Reds have not had a no-hitter since 1988. When Tom Browning threw a perfect game against the Dodgers. Wallace into deep right field. Aoki is back, and goodbye. Brett Wallace makes it a 4-1 Houston lead. Another 2-out run for the Astros.
Well, Gallardo tried to come up and in, and Wallace waiting for it. Able to get on top of it. Didn't sound like he got all of it, but he's big and strong, able to muscle it on out of there. Up and in, pulls the hands in, and gets enough of it. And Wallace with a home run gives the Astros a 3-run lead.
Well, the Astros now at 7 hits. Wallace has 2 of them. You don't see Gallardo pitch like this very often, especially against Houston. Gallardo in his career against the Astros is 13-2 with a 2.68 ERA.
Yeah, 13-2 in 15 starts. So he's had a decision in every one of his starts against the Astros. That's rare.
Brewers in a 3-run hole right now, 4-1. The only hit for the Brewers, a home run from Gomez. Jason Castro with 2 away. 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes on Castro. Brewers have 3 with Houston tomorrow night, and then Sunday afternoon, the last day game of the season, Sunday. And then the Padres come into town Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and that will wrap up the regular season. Gallardo will pitch the finale on Wednesday as Castro lifts that one deep to left. That ball's well hit. And Braun reaching up, and it is up and out. A home run for Jason Castro. 5-1 Houston. Back-to-back 2-out home runs by the Astros.
He's showing some pretty good opposite field power. Castro goes right with it. Barely gets it out. Looks like Ryan Braun had a shot at it. Pretty good effort, but just out of his reach. Maybe went off the end of his glove, not sure. Came close.
Jason Castro with just his 4th home run of the year. Five to 1 Houston. Fernando Martinez takes a ball. 1-1 the count. Homer Bailey is inching his way towards that no-hitter. He is now 1 out away. 2 outs in the 9th. A 1-0 Cincinnati lead. Two balls, 2 strikes. Gallardo trying to finish off the Astros in the 5th. It's been a rough final out to get for Gallardo. Back-to-back home runs. And the Astros now with 8 hits on Giovanni. The year of the no-hitter.
Maybe one more, huh?
That would be number 7 of the season, if Homer Bailey can finish it off. Dusty Baker's missing all the fun. Broken bat. Ricky Weeks is over. And the side finally retired, but not before the Astros strike with a couple of homers. 5-1 Houston. Are behind 5-1. They've got some work to do tonight. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Mark Concannon, our reporter tonight. Chris Withers and Kevin Shank in the truck. And a reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. Well, Homer Bailey has done it. He has no-hit the Pittsburgh Pirates. The 7th no-hitter of the season. So congratulations to the young right-hander. Well, what a magical year for Cincinnati. They secured their 2nd division title in the last 3 years. And doing all of this without Dusty Baker. He's been out, had a mini stroke, and he's not with the ball club.
I hope he comes back soon. Dusty, one of the good guys in the game.
Corey Hart, slow roll to third. Dominguez for out number 1.
Now the best seats, prices, perks, and the best of Brewers baseball. It's all yours with a season ticket package. For more information, call 414-902-PITS for season tickets for the 2013 season. They're talking about a magical year. How about the disastrous end of the season for the Pirates?
And now getting no hit on their home field tonight.
Well, a month ago it looked like they were a sure bet to at least finish over 500. Now not so sure.
Well, in late August the Pirates were 16 games over 500. The loss tonight, they go 5 games under, 76 and 81, and they get no hit.
5 games left. Wow.
For the Reds, it is their 15th no-hitter in their franchise history, the oldest professional baseball team, but it hasn't been done since 1988. Maldonado, big bounce to Lowry. Well, the Brewers are being tied up in knots by Edgar Gonzalez.
Really haven't been able to make solid contact except for Gomez. Everything off the end, down on the handle. Mixing speeds, and that's what Johnny Nairn was talking about.
Who was the last Astros starter to oppose Giovanni Gallardo and record a win? That is our AT&T trivia tonight. It's been a while.
You know,
there's only 2 of them.
Right. Could be anybody.
Feels like a Wandy Rodriguez or a
Roy Oswald.
Roy
or
Oswald,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just guessing. So far tonight, Carlos Gomez has the only hit. It was a home run in the 3rd. Brewers trail 5-1. 3 homers in the game tonight. Brett Wallace and Jason Castro went back-to-back. On a night when the Cardinals are out to a big lead early with Adam Wainwright on the mound, the Brewers trailing. A changeup for a strike. From AAA to the Mexican League, back into affiliated baseball in the minor leagues and AAA, and then to the big leagues.
They have 4 different teams this year.
Little flare. Gomez. Foul. Just foul. Thinking about extra bases. They have 2 leagues in Mexico. They have the Mexican Summer League. And then the more popular Mexican Winter League that enters into the Caribbean World Series, if they make it that far. We used to do when I was in the minor leagues in the Texas League. We did an all-star game series against the Mexican League every year. It was a lot of fun getting to know that culture and getting to know some of those players. I remember Fernando Valenzuela pitched for Team Mexico at 40-something years of age. As Gomez strikes out, and Edgar Gonzalez, another 1-2-3 inning. A rough night for Gallardo so far. Now the Badgers football team will begin Big Ten play with a tough test Saturday in Lincoln. You can read Jesse Temple's preview at foxsportswisconsin.com. College football Saturday tomorrow. And this is the place to be. Fox Sports Wisconsin. We'll be back with you tomorrow night. Brewers Astros game 2 of this series. And the Brewers will be sending up Marco Estrada against Dallas Keuchel. Gallardo needs to put up a 0 here as the Astros scored 2 runs in each of the last 2 innings. Matt Dominguez is 1 for 2, had a single and an RBI in the 2nd inning. Reached on an error but drove in a run in the 4th inning. Well, Ricky Weeks is over. Gallardo has to cover. Hart just ranging over. I don't think he had any brakes left on that injured foot. He just kept running.
And one of the reasons why he fell down on that bunt, I would imagine.
Time now to take a look at our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery. Edgar Gonzalez and Giovanni Gallardo.
A bit of a surprise for Gonzalez at 94 miles an hour. He threw one of his fastballs that he threw to Gomez was 94.
I'm saying that's a hot gun.
Not for Yo.
Well, Gonzalez also has an infield hit and an RBI tonight.
Picked by Gallardo's last inning. He's due up 2nd in the bottom of the 6th. Brewers need some offense. He's been throwing a lot of fastballs at about 90 to 91 tonight.
And he walks the pitcher on 4 straight. Very un-Gallardo-like. Just not quite right tonight.
Velocity down a little bit. Certainly location has been off. I mean, it's been so good for such a long stretch. I guess you would figure he's due. Kranitz out to give him a bit of a breather.
Quick trip to the mound for Rick Kranitz. Manny Parra getting loose. Gallardo shaking his head. One gone, back to the top of the order, and Jose Altuve. There's strike 1 to Altuve, who has a hit tonight, 1 for 3. The lone Astros representative at the All-Star game in Kansas City this year.
Putting together a nice season. Here's a guy that doesn't walk too much, Altuve. They're coming in with almost 600 at bats this year.
Free swinging.
He's going up there hacking and doing a pretty good job.
Gallardo has it to 2nd for 1. Segura's throw in time and a 1-6-3 double play. And we'll see if that gives the Brewers some life. Down 5-1, we go to the bottom of the 6th. presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top Can. It's Miller time.
And tonight's time of the game winner is the Lore Bar Nakusa. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to an April or May Brewers game next year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite home game, that is. Don't be calling up asking for a road game. It's a home game. Miller Lite beer pen.
Not that we don't want to see you on the road. Just you got to go on your own merits.
Yeah, you got to. It's on your own dime.
Five to 1. Edgar Gonzalez is pitching a gem against Milwaukee tonight. He has faced 1 over the minimum. Gonzalez has retired 15 out of 16 tonight. The only blemish, a Carlos Gomez leadoff home run in the 3rd. On a night when Homer Bailey of the Reds throws a no-hitter, Edgar Gonzalez is coming up with one of his better outings of his career, which has been a long and winding road through professional baseball as he deals strike 1 to Segura.
Well, he's 2-1 in 4 starts for the Astros. He's got a .394 earned run average coming into tonight. That ERA is down to 3.43.
And he's got the full salad buffet going against the Brewers, but he's shown a good fastball, as you mentioned.
Hadn't thrown many of them. A lot of change-ups, breaking balls, keeping the Brewers off balance.
Segura grounded out to short in the 3rd inning. A lot of ground outs in this game. Most of his outs have come on the ground, and he's kept his shortstop Jed Lowry busy tonight.
We had 2 baseballs to the outfield so far in this game, both coming the first 2 hitters in the 1st inning.
Back up the middle and a base hit for Segura. The 2nd hit for Milwaukee and a good way to start the 6th inning.
Segura able to wait back a curveball up in the strike zone, some type of a breaking pitch. Shoots it right back through the middle. A lot of his base hits have come up the middle.
So Segura is aboard, and as you see Manny Parra in the bullpen, he'll be in next as Gallardo is lifted for the pinch hitter Travis Ishikawa. Tough night for Gallardo. 5 innings, 5 earned runs. Well, we'll see if the Brewers offense can take him off the hook here tonight. Ishikawa hitting .250 as a pinch hitter, 12 for 48. Has 8 runs batted in. 8 of his 26 RBIs have been in this role. In front of a packed house tonight. The Brewers haven't had much going on offensively against Gonzalez.
Yeah, 16th sellout of the season.
Over 41,000 here tonight.
Yeah. Well done. Again.
Got the top of the order coming up next. Ishikawa trying to get Segura on the move at first. Shoots that one foul. Ishikawa's done a nice job this year. Brewers weren't sure what they were going to get out of him. He was placed on the roster because he's such a good first baseman. But he's been a much better pinch hitter than I think anybody imagined he would be. And he's become the go-to guy for Ron Renicky off the bench.
12 for 48. He's got 8 RBIs as a pinch hitter. A lot of those pinch hits have come lately. Got off to a slow start this year, but the last 6 weeks or so, coming up with some hits.
A leadoff single from Segura. Ishikawa down in the count 0-2. And a changeup misses. Cardinals out in front 9-1 over the Nationals tonight. That game's in the 5th inning. Wainwright still pitching. Edwin Jackson roughed up tonight, the former Cardinal. Cardinals are 3 up on the Dodgers, 4 on the Brew Crew. Starting play tonight with 6 left. Dodgers play later tonight at Dodger Stadium against Colorado. The season would end today. The Cardinals would go to Atlanta for the wild card play-in game. That would be a week from tonight on Friday. The winner of that series would then start a series on Sunday, and as it stands right now, it would be against the Washington Nationals, but a lot can change. Reds also trying to make a bit of that best record. That ball gets away from Castro, and Segura into second base.
Tried to backhand a curveball down in the dirt. That's a no-no. Now the Brewers don't have to worry about the conventional double play. Castro talking to himself.
A few harumphs.
Yeah.
Now base hit will bring a run in with the speedy Segura at second. And this crowd trying to get into it. 5-1 Houston. We play in the bottom of the 6th. Another one skips by Castro, but he's on top of that one as the count goes to 3-2.
And better effort that time, just trying to block it, then try and backhand it and catch in the glove. Couple of breaking balls down in the dirt. Gonzalez trying to keep it down. Remember the base hit for Segura was a hanger. Changeup.
Rally towels are out, giving it that postseason atmosphere that we saw a year ago. Full count to Ishikawa. And there's that base hit. Segura the third. Travis Ishikawa with a 2-strike pinch hit single. Nicely done.
That little slice job off the handle. It was a breaking pitch that was up. And Travis pulls the hands in. Didn't hit it very hard, but the shift was on. Got it down on the trademark, but pushed it into left field, beating the shift. Check out Lowry. He's up the middle.
Segura had to freeze for just a moment. He couldn't take off right away, not knowing if that ball was going to be played or not.
They wasn't sure how much Lowry's up the middle.
Doug Brocail, the Astros pitching coach, with a visit to the mound as Gonzalez goes back to the top of the order now. Big spot for the Brewers, a chance to do some damage. You got the top of the order coming up. Back-to-back singles by Segura and Ishikawa. And here is Aoki. The way Aoki has gone this month, this is about the time when he hits one over the fence in right field.
Tomahawk's a high fastball right down the line.
From an extreme low ball hitter to Ishikawa to a high ball left-handed hitter, and Aoki had a big cut, didn't he? He fouls it back. Ishikawa fell behind quickly, 0-2, and then came all the way back, delivered a 3-2 single for the pinch hit. Good smother by Castro. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nori Aoki has outslugged the biggest sluggers in the National League in the month of September. 17 extra base hits is just one off a franchise record in the month, held by Corey Hart and George Scott, the boomer. He was out ahead of it. And a pop-up to Altuve.
They really pulled the string on that curveball that time, and Nori way out in front. That was a good pitch.
So the first out, runners have to stay put. Still at the corners for Ricky Weeks. Weeks sitting on 20 homers, but it's been a while since he homered. Last home run on the 15th of September. That was here at Miller Park against the Mets. Ricky's been keeping an eye on that American League pennant race as well. His brother Jamal Weeks in the big leagues with the Oakland Athletics. No longer in an everyday role at second base, but he's part of that ball club. A big surprise. Bouncer to third. Dominguez coming to the plate, and Segura is out at home. Good throw on the run by Matt Dominguez.
The only chance he had, wasn't going to turn 2, decided to take the out at home. Cut down that run. And Segura, not a very good break off of third. And an easy out at home. You get a walking lead when a guy is delivering the baseball, you get a better opportunity to score. And a good throw by the Astros third baseman.
Dominguez is an excellent defender. It's the guy the Astros got from the Marlins. So he's made a couple of nice plays tonight. And now 2 men are out for Ryan Braun. Milwaukee looking for a big hit at some point. Ishikawa now at second with Weeks at first. Back-to-back singles to start the inning, but the Brewers with a couple of outs since, a pop-up and a ground out. And Braun into left center, a base hit. Here comes Ishikawa. He'll score. Weeks on his way home. He will score as Ryan Braun comes through again.
There's your big hit.
A 2 RBI double for Braun. And the Brewers back within a pair. RBIs number 111 and 112, leading the league in that category.
Right, really did a nice job waiting back. Gonzalez tried to throw something off speed, changeup, and looked like Braun was waiting for it. Middle in, not where you want to leave a changeup. And look at Braun, head down, stiff front leg, and a bullet into the gap in left center. Ricky Weeks with very good speed, able to score all the way from first base. So now the Brewers have the tying run coming to home plate.
That'll be the last hitter that Edgar Gonzalez faces as Ryan Braun doubles in a pair. Gonzalez is headed to the clubhouse. We'll set up the new hurler when we come back. Brewers threatening with 2 outs in the 6th. as Ryan Braun drives in a pair. A 2-out, 2 RBI double into left center field. The new pitcher is Hector Ambriz.
17th game for Ambriz. He's not allowed to run in 6 of his last 7 outings. He started the season in the Indians organization. He was down in AAA. And the Astros picked him up on August 22nd. Has not allowed a home run. He has a pretty good opponent batting average at 196.
Seems like half the Astros roster started somewhere else this season. And as far as names go for a pitcher, the name that ends in Breeze is a pretty good one. Better than Homer, but Homer threw a no-hitter tonight for the Reds. Homer Bailey. Aramis Ramirez representing the tying run here in the 6th. And way outside, and Breeze misses with a fastball. And Braun at second base. 2 outs in the inning. There goes Braun. And the throw to third. Not in time. And there is number 30 for Ryan Braun. His 30th stolen base of the year. Back-to-back seasons of at least 30 homers and 30 steals. And make it a 40-30 year this year.
Well, he knew it was going to happen at some point, but Ryan Braun steals third base. Risky business down by a couple of runs, but he made it easily. The 3rd Brewer in their history to have a 30-30 season.
And Braun's done it twice.
And Tommy Harper back in 1970.
So Braun 90 feet away, and the 2-0 pitch down in the dirt. Great stop by Castro. Yikes.
I should say the 3rd time a Brewer has gotten to 30-30, the 2nd one in their history. Braun and Harper, and really not even close. Nobody really holding them on. Nobody keeping them close. He just takes third base.
What a year. Three balls, no strikes on Ramirez. See if he's got a green light here. And he takes a strike. Looked like an off-speed pitch on a 3-0.
Cutter, slider, something like that. Fastball has been about at 94 miles an hour for him.
And that's ball 4. So Ramirez walks, and the tying run is now aboard. Here comes Corey Hart. Braun doubled. Ramirez walks. 2 on, 2 out, and the Brewers down a pair. Speaking of guys stacking up big numbers, Corey Hart, he's got a chance at another 30 homer season. It would be the 2nd of his career. He's sitting on 28. Playing on a hobbled foot right now. Just sounds bad. They torn fascia, plantar fascia in the arch of his foot.
And not sure what's worse, the right or the left. Where, you know, if you got that plant foot, that back foot, probably worse, but that's the foundation of your swing, that front foot when you dig in.
Big swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hector Ambriz taking over for Edgar Gonzalez. Pitching in front of 41,000 was probably the last thing on their minds when the season began, these two. A spinner inside, ball 2.
Having a tough time with that pitch. He's only throwing 1 for a strike. That was a 3-0 slider to Aramis Ramirez.
Another one.
That's a good one.
2-2. Brewers had just one hit leading up to the 6th inning. They've had 3 in this frame. And a walk. Remember, Segura was thrown out at the plate on a ground ball. Braun drove in 2 with a 2-out double. And now Hart trying to add to it with 2 away. 5-3 Houston in the 6th. 3-2. Well, if he threw Ramirez a 3-0 slider, you figure he'd be up for throwing a 3-2 slider.
And if he hangs, a good chance Corey Hart's going to knock it out of here.
Full count, 2 outs. And Hart in the right. Moore is over. And he's got it for the out. Just missed it. So the inning ends, but the Brewers score twice. They are within 2 as Ryan Braun, yet another milestone, his 30th stolen base. Carlos Gomez with the first hit for the Brewers. It came in the 3rd inning, and it was a home run, his 18th of the year. The Astros doing some damage against Gallardo tonight. Back-to-back 2-out homers from Brett Wallace and Jason Castro. That extended the Houston lead to 5-1, but the Brewers able to get something going finally against Edgar Gonzalez as Braun drives in 2 with a double. At Chase Gonzalez, and it brought the Brewers within a pair, and that's where we sit as we go to the 7th. 5-3 Astros as Jim Henderson is on the pitch.
And Henderson has been outstanding. He tossed a perfect 8th inning in yesterday's game at Cincinnati. That included a couple of strikeouts and has not given up a run in his last 8 appearances. That covers 7 1/3 innings.
Well, Ron Renicky had Manny Parra up and ready to come in, but after the Brewers scored twice, he goes with Henderson to try to provide a shutdown inning after the Brewers scored a pair of runs in the 6th. Scott Moore will lead off for Houston. Gallardo finishes with 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs all earned. Got 3 walks and 5 strikeouts, and cannot win tonight. Still on the hook for the loss. Moore in the right field, right at Aoki for the out. One away. Duffy just picking this up. We had a no-hitter tonight in the big leagues. Homer Bailey of the Cincinnati Reds pitching in Pittsburgh. And he no-hits the Pirates. First no-hitter in Reds franchise history since 1988 and the 15th overall. And it was a 1-0 victory, the 7th no-hitter of the year, and there have been 3 no-hitters that have ended in 1-0 scores.
And the last no-hitter for the Cincinnati Reds, Tom Browning, a perfect game. How about A.J. Burnett losing a game 1-0 on a no-hitter?
A.J. Burnett has a no-hitter in his career, but not like that. So Homer Bailey. This is going to be a postseason this year where you'll need that 4th starter. No longer are the 2 travel days in a 5-game series. You know, at times you can get away with 3 starters. That's not going to be the case this year. As a matter of fact, probably going to need all 5 of your starters.
And not as many off days.
Yeah, just the 1 travel day. Reds look like they're primed. We'll see. It's a good ball club, and they're battling it out with the Nationals right now for the best record. Nationals are losing in St. Louis. Cincinnati has won, and Nationals will be just a half game ahead. There's a swing and a miss. Henderson strikes out Jed Lowry. I believe the Nationals own the tiebreaker there with Cincinnati, so they'd have to lead by a game for the best record. That'd be the difference between playing the wild card team or at this point traveling to San Francisco to start a series with the Giants. That's a big difference. Washington has a better head-to-head record over Cincinnati. Still some great races going on, especially in the American League. Ball and a strike on Maxwell.
Yeah, the Baltimore Orioles just don't want to go away, do they? Orioles, Yankees. Yankees have a game lead on them.
Orioles playing great baseball. The Orioles and the A's. The all alphabet playoff game, perhaps. That's what the wild card would look like in the American League right now. The O's and the A's. 1-2 pitch. Maxwell fouls it back. Tonight the Yankees lead the Blue Jays 9-4. That game's in the 8th inning. Orioles are in Boston tonight.
They won 9-1.
And the other team in that mix, the Oakland Athletics, who will play later tonight against Seattle. Swing and a miss. Henderson, impressive. 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts. Stretch time at Miller Park in front of 41,700. Brewers coming up, down a pair.
time now to hear from you, the fans, on the pulse of social media. And fans have packed Miller Park again here tonight on the first night of Fan Appreciation Weekend with the 16th sellout of the season. And tonight we asked fans, what do you like most about coming here to Miller Park using the hashtag Miller Park? Now, Mike said no rainouts, tailgating, affordable prices, great fans, great players, and a great team. Baseball at its best. Hard to argue with that. James said Miller Park offers a great sports experience. The fans are festive, tailgating is a blast, and we love to cheer on the Brew Crew. Cal said tailgating is better than any other venue in all of sports and the best home crowd in the majors. Love the hashtag Thriller Park that he used. Now, BA and Rock, fans tailgating, they love it. They're passionate about it. And we've loved seeing all the fans come out here throughout the season and hope that they'll come out for the next 5 games.
Yeah, looking forward to packing the house here as the Brewers play their final homestand. Maldonado tries to bunt his way aboard and bounces out.
Hey, what's not to like about Miller Park, right?
Nothing. Brandon Barnes in center field. Tony DeFrancesco tightens up his defense a little bit as he sends Barnes to center. That moves Maxwell to right. Astros with a 5-3 lead. We've seen a bunch of prospects come up and have success as far as the Brewers players go. How about Sophia Minard? Broadcasting prospect here. Doing a nice job.
Star is born.
Yeah, she's done a great job for us and handles all the social media elements the Brewers have here at Fox Sports Wisconsin, and we appreciate her efforts this season.
Been a nice addition. She really has.
So roller by Gomez and 2 quick outs for the Brewers. Let's take you back to our AT&T trivia. We're looking for the last Astro pitcher to beat Giovanni Gallardo. And we got to go all the way back to the Wandy Rodriguez days back in '09. That was a guess.
No, I didn't know. You know every answer. You know. I know you do.
But I didn't know this one.
He just threw out Wandy Rodriguez of what, the 100 pitchers it could have been.
I remember that game, Ron. August 9th of '09.
I'd like to get on that email chain. I really would.
That is need to know basis, pal.
I know you say that all the time.
You're the former athlete, former player.
Keep me in the dark.
Try to keep things simple for you.
See, the thing is, I mean, when I give away an answer like that, I get my wrist slapped.
A strike to Segura.
Different set of rules. I get it.
Yeah, that's the way the world works.
It is.
All those years as a player, and you should know that.
Nobody says it's going to be fair, right?
Segura and a base hit just over the glove of Wallace. So it is Gene Segura once again, his second hit. Let's see if that gets something sparked.
Any way to get that tying run to the play, you never know. Somebody comes up and knocks one out of here to tie it up. And nice job for Segura, pulling the hands in, just shooting it inside out into right field. It might be a stolen base opportunity for Segura to get into scoring position.
Ron Renick's going to call on Jonathan Lucroy here. Ken Chetting with 2 outs in the 7th. Lucroy, the everyday catcher. But he's done a nice job when called upon off the bench. He's 4 for 10. He's drawn a number of walks as well. A .328 hitter with 11 homers, 56 driven in this season. And that after missing 2 months of the schedule with a broken hand. Broke his hand in late May in Los Angeles. Came back in late July, just after the All-Star break.
Still hitting around 330, 328.
2 outs.
Well, Segura would love to be able to take off if he gets a good jump. Get into scoring position for Lucroy. Luke will give you some unexpected power, but he's more of a doubles base hit guy.
Astros outfield is very deep. There goes Segura. Good pitch to run on, and he's safe easily. He picked a perfect pitch to steal a base. Castro had no chance with that breaking ball.
The Brewers widening their lead in stolen bases, now 153. Breaking ball, not much of a chance for Castro behind home plate. Head down and a head first slide, and no contest.
Segura now 7 for 8 in stolen base attempts. Once stole 50 bases in a minor league season. So now Lucroy with a chance to drive in a run, and it's sawed off. And Ambriz will take it to the bag. Hitting over. Brewers come up empty. We head to the 8th. 5-3 Houston. Segura was stranded at second base. Brewers chasing a number of milestones with 5 games to play after tonight. The Brewers first team since '96 to lead in homers and stolen bases. They lead in both of those categories. And as far as the pitching staff, that record set by the Cubs in '03 still out there for them. They'd have to average 10 strikeouts a game the rest of the way. Nori Aoki has established a new franchise record for doubles by a rookie, passing Prince Fielder. And Aramis Ramirez 3 doubles away from a franchise record, tying Lyle Overbay. And Ryan Braun tonight with his 30th stolen base. Back-to-back 30-30 seasons for Ryan Braun. He is a 40-30 player this year, 41 home runs, 30 stolen bases now. It's an MVP season any way you cut it.
Yeah. I mean, he's certainly starting to separate himself from the pack. He really is.
Francisco Rodriguez will come on to pitch. Lucroy stays in to catch. 8th inning from Miller Park, and the Astros lead 5-3.
Well, K-Rod's been very good as well. Hasn't allowed a run in his last 6 appearances. Threw a perfect 7th inning yesterday against Cincinnati, just like Henderson had a couple of strikeouts in that inning. He's shown very good command of his fastball and his curveball.
Brett Wallace leading off for Houston. He homered off Gallardo in the 5th. Hits that one hard. Weeks stays in front of it and makes the play. Ricky Weeks, unselfish.
Yeah.
Taking one for the team right there, and he gets an out to start the 8th.
Yeah, you play that off to the side. That's in right field. And Ricky getting in front of the in-between hop. Wallace hits this one like a bullet, a top spin liner right off of Ricky. And he gets the out. Our Pizza Hut delivery of the game. Check it out. That ball picking up speed after it hit the ground, and Weeks able to make the play.
Nicely done. Excellent play by Ricky Weeks. Well, you know K-Rod appreciates that. Put a body in front of it. Henderson worked a scoreless 7th inning. Retired the side in order with a couple of strikeouts. And that one popped up behind home plate, headed for the seats. By the way, there was a scoring change, a scoring update, adding another error to the Brewers line tonight. Back in that 2-run scoring 4th inning for Houston, they gave Segura 2 errors, which means one of the runs Gallardo allowed is unearned. 5 runs, 4 earned for Gallardo. Segura 2 errors on the same play. Francisco Rodriguez will be a free agent at season's end. Having a fast finish to his season after a very rough middle of the season. Well, the Brewers bullpen, this is going to be a year to forget for the late inning relief.
Well, nothing they can do about that, but they certainly have turned things around the last month to 6 weeks.
In the air, right center field, pretty well hit. Back is Aoki, and this one's going to go. Castro with a home run, his 2nd of the game, and he gives the Astros a 6-3 lead. So Jason Castro, who came into this game with 3 home runs all season, hits 2 in back-to-back at-bats.
First time in his career he's hit a multi-home run game. That fastball right down the middle. Down in his zone, and Castro able to get the bat head out and knock it out of here.
Broken bat, Corey Hart backhands. Nice play. Rodriguez there for him. 2 outs as Martinez is retired. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap, the Brewers and the Astros tomorrow. We're back on Fox Sports Wisconsin tomorrow night. 6 o'clock is airtime for Brewers Live. And then Sunday is the last day game of the year. 12:30 we're on the air. The game starts at 1:10. Monday the Padres are in town. Counting them down in 2012. 5 games left after tonight in the regular season. A strike to Dominguez. To the count on Matt Dominguez. And Spinner misses. Close. 1-2. Looking ahead to the Brewers 8th inning. Top of the order coming up. Aoki, Weeks, and Braun if anybody reaches Aramis Ramirez. Dominguez with 2 RBIs tonight. Has a hit, 1 for 3, and a little flare that will fall. A base hit. So a 2-out single by Dominguez. Astros still at work here in the 8th. And Tony DeFrancesco will make a call to the bench here. Brian Bogusevic to pinch hit. DeFrancesco taking over for Brad Mills, who was relieved of his duties last month. Astros have named Bo Porter as their next manager, a Houston native. A little bit interesting that the Astros made that decision and made it public with a little over a week to go in the season.
We can't imagine why what the motivation for that would be. Bo Porter in the middle of a pennant push, a World Series push for the Nationals. Kind of deflates your manager that's sitting in the dugout right now.
Who was a candidate.
Right.
He was one of the final 3.
Astros have done some interesting things this year.
They've got a tough road back, the Astros. Their minor league system is beat up. Not many prospects. Changing leagues going into the American League West. There's a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. There are 3 teams of the 4 of the American League West that are making a playoff push right now. The Rangers, the A's, and the Angels. Angels are making things interesting in the American League right now. They've had a terrific rally to give themselves a shot. One and 2. Bogusevic takes a ball. Rodriguez giving up a home run to Jason Castro to make it 6-3. Little jam shot over his Ramirez, bobbles, and the throw just in time to get the out at second base. Inning is over. The Astros score. Brewers are down 3.
Houston 6-3. Time now for our Subway Surprise on the line. It's the National League wild card right now for Milwaukee, coming into tonight trailing by 4. St. Louis winning big in their game already over the Nationals. So the Brewers, the 2008 wild card winners, looking for number 2, but it's a tough road right now. And if they're going to get back in, it starts with the top of the order. Aoki for the Brewers. They have 6 outs left.
Well, that's right, and Aoki Nori just hasn't gotten on base. Good time for him to get something going, get on base, and take it from there.
Yeah, Brewers trailed 5-1 at one point, got within 5-3 thanks to Ryan Braun's 2-run double. And the Brewers still looking for some more offense in this one. We'll break this game down coming up on Brewers Live postgame. Get inside the clubhouse as well, plus our instructional. Back to you, Brian.
All right, thanks, Craig and Davey, as Nori Aoki leads off against Wesley Wright, the left-hander out of the Astros bullpen. Or outfield changes for Tony DeFrancesco and the Astros. Bogusevic stays in to play right, which sends Maxwell over to left field. Justin Maxwell has played all 3 outfield positions tonight. Started in center, moved to right, and now to left. Good numbers for Wesley Wright. He's been one of the shining stars out of that Astros bullpen. Look out, Aoki.
Up and in, and Aoki right at the head, able to get down. Well, that pitch wasn't even close. Check it out. Right at the noggin.
Yikes. It's another category the Brewers lead the league in. Hit by pitches. Somehow Aoki avoided that one. Another one up there.
Well,
wow, 2 in a row.
Yeah, same spot. Let's go. Throw a strike.
How's Jose Altuve feeling right now? He's leading off the 9th after seeing 2 at the helmet of Aoki. 3 balls and a strike. And ball 4. Base runner on to start the 8th.
One thing to miss. It's another thing to throw a couple of rated guys' head. No excuse for that. I know he's not trying to, but he's a big leaguer. He should do better than that.
Now the Brewers are down 3. Scored a couple of runs on a 2 RBI double by Braun in the 6th inning. A home run by Gomez in the 3rd. Braun waits to hit next. (6-3) Houston. And a fastball strike. Ricky reached on a fielder's choice his last time up. Scored a run. There's a good fastball from Wright.
Yeah, had good zip on that pitch. 93 miles an hour. Basically a 2-pitch guy, Wesley Wright. And fastball that has some sink to it. And he'll throw a slider. Very effective against lefties. Not so much against right-handers. And nothing but right-handers coming up from Milwaukee.
Weeks down 0-2 with Aoki at first. And that one misses upstairs, not by much. Right with another fastball. Well, you wonder if DeFrancesco is going to leave Wright in to face Braun. He does have a reliever warming in the bullpen.
Astros started the night with 10 relievers down there. He's got plenty of righties.
Milwaukee has never led in this game. Trailed 1-0, tied it in 1, fell behind 3-1, then 5-1. Now 6-3. Bottom of the 8th, and a 1-2 pitch. Weeks fights it off.
There's that slider down and in.
Cardinals are headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. 9-2, they lead Washington. Cardinals scored 9 runs in the first 2 innings off Edwin Jackson. Dodgers are underway with the Rockies. They lead 4-0 in the 3rd. And the Brewers behind 3 here in the 8th. Weeks trying to give Ryan Braun a swing here, representing the tying run. Back to the breaking ball. See, Wright's not missing by much, but all around the strike zone. In this at bat, after buzzing Aoki's tower a couple of times. Ryan Braun waiting next. Got him. Weeks strikes out. Back to the heat. And down goes Ricky Weeks.
And back-to-back sliders had him slowing his bat down a little bit. Then went right back to the fastball. Right down the middle. And Ricky swings right underneath.
One gone. Aoki still at first. And here comes Braun. At the plate, presented by Wendy's. And a double and 2 RBIs. In the 6th inning, a 2-out, 2 RBI double. Now with 112 runs batted in, he leads the league in home runs and RBIs. And a big cut. Braun stealing third base. Back in the 6th inning, giving him 30 steals to go along with the 41 home runs. And just to give you an idea how rare that is, he's just the 11th player in Major League history to hit 40 homers and steal 30 bases in the same season. Stat courtesy of Elias. That's impressive.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, you just had a better year than Ryan Braun this year. Anybody? No.
Nobody.
And the fact that the Brewers got themselves back in the race, might not make it, but that's certainly going to help them.
One and 2 on Braun. Last time there was a 40-30 player in the big leagues, Alfonso Soriano. Back in 06, he was a 40-40 player that year. 46 homers, 41 stolen bases. Rare air. Hank Aaron did it as a Milwaukee Brave. Aoki at first with 2 away. Check it 1 away. And Braun looks at one down and in. Astros had a 40-30 player in Jeff Bagwell. He did it twice. A-Rod, Larry Walker, Barry Bonds did it twice. The others on that list, Ellis Burks and Jose Canseco. Ellis Burks, that's a good name.
Yeah. That's some good years with the Red Sox.
2-2. And a bouncer toward third. Dominguez goes to second for 1.
Looked like he was going to throw to first base.
5-4 on the putout, and Braun reaching on a fielder's choice. So, with Wesley Wright retiring Braun, Tony DeFrancesco now makes the change. As Aramis Ramirez is coming up, DeFrancesco going to the right-hander in the bullpen. So 2 outs in the 8th, the pitching change. We'll set up the new hurler when we come back. Their last 4 outs, Braun is aboard, reaching on a fielder's choice. And the new pitcher is Rainer Cruz for the Astros. Interesting that Tony DeFrancesco goes with a right-hander here after a left-hander retired Weeks and Braun. Something about the matchup with Aramis Ramirez, I suppose.
Well, the scouting reports and the statistics, I guess, for the Astros feel as though that they're better off having left-handers face Weeks and Braun, but not so much Ramirez as Rainer Cruz comes on. A hard thrower who another Astros had some issues throwing strikes this year, but he's got good stuff. It's all a matter of his ability to be able to throw strikes.
Well, Tony DeFrancesco, he knows that Aramis Ramirez has never had a hit against Rainer Cruz. He's 0 for 2.
He's due.
Maybe he's playing the hunch. Ramirez is 0 for 2 tonight. Braun at first. And a breaking ball strike to Ramirez.
I was looking at the statistics for Ryan Braun. He's hitting .358 against lefties.
There you go. He's playing his gut rock.
So it wasn't the stats.
It's refreshing. Ramirez into right. That ball slicing away, and cannot make the catch. Bogasevic. Braun's going to score. Ramirez around second, on his way to third. And the doubles machine turns into a triple here in the 8th inning. And the Brewers within a pair. It's 6-4. As Aramis Ramirez, his 3rd triple of the season.
Yep, I told you he was due against Cruz, right? Oh, now 1 for 3 with a triple and an RBI. Well, Aramis Ramirez is able to get a run on the board from Milwaukee. Now, once again, the Brewers bring the tying run to home plate. And Corey Hart in the batter's box. It took Bogasevic a while to get down in that corner, and Ramirez running all the way into third base without a throw.
So Ramirez just out of the outstretched glove of Bogasevic, who just entered the game in right field after he pinch hit in the top of this inning. top 2 extra base run producers or hit producers in the National League, Braun and Ramirez. And each with an extra base hit tonight. Corey Hart is 5th on that list. And Tony DeFrancesco is walking out. So he brings on Rainer Cruz to face Ramirez and doesn't like the matchup with Corey Hart.
Well, perhaps thinking about the situation, who's on deck. And now he goes to his reliever. That's the first time he's made the signal.
Well, he is going to go with his closer, Wilton Lopez, asking an inning plus out of him tonight. Take a break. For the Brewers, an RBI triple for Ramirez. He's at 3rd. With Corey Hart coming up and a pitching change. Tony DeFrancesco back to his bullpen, and this is his closer now, Wilton Lopez.
Now you see his numbers. He's 6-3 this year, and he's got 3 wins against the Brewers. All coming this year with a 150 earned run average. Done a nice job against Milwaukee.
He only went an inning plus in his last time out against St. Louis. That was the final game of that series on Wednesday, preserving the shutout as the Astros beat the Cardinals. So it's Lopez against Hart. Hart representing the tying run. 2 outs, 6-4 Houston. Bottom of the 8th.
Lopez slings that baseball out from high 3/4 and has pretty good movement on it. They started him out with a slider. He's also got a split fingered pitch.
0-1 pitch to Hart. Fastball misses away, slings it in at 94. Wilton Lopez, he has 8 saves. Cameron Lowe, if the Brewers still trail, Axford if they're tied or ahead, you would think. And a foul tip in and out of the glove of Castro.
Yeah, Corey wanted that one back. Yeah, good pitch to hit, left it up right down the middle.
Hart was up with 2 on in the 6th inning. Flew out to right. A big home run for the Astros in the top of this 8th inning by Castro. So it's a 2-run deficit right now as Hart Takes a ball low. Good stop back there from Castro.
Lopez looks like a guy to be rather difficult to catch. Ball moves all over the place. Throws a lot of strikes though. Very rarely walks a batter. Got good movement.
Hard hanging tough. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 away. Brewers trying to fight back in this game. Trailed 5-1 at one point. And a swing and a miss. Lopez strikes out Corey Hart to end the inning. Aramis Ramirez with an RBI triple. The Brewers within 2 as we go to the 9th. Park. First game of this 3-game series and the final homestand of the year. Cameron Lowe is the new pitcher, and he will try to keep the Astros at 6 as we head to the 9th. Top of the order coming up for Houston. Lowe's 68th appearance of the season.
After a couple of rough outings, Cameron Lowe threw pretty well on Tuesday at Cincinnati. Retired all 4 batters that he faced. Had a rough go of it over his last 12, but last time out, very good.
Ho-Chunk Gaming text question from Scotty in New Berlin. To what do you attribute the successful strikeout total by Brewers pitching this season? Rick Kranitz, give him all the credit.
That's why they took a shot of him, right? It's all about the pitching coach. It's nice to get a shot of a pitching coach when you're talking about something good. Ordinarily, the only time you see him is when somebody's getting lit up.
The agony coming through his face. Kranitz wouldn't be good in a poker game, you wouldn't think.
Yeah, we've been talking about that too. That's an interesting question. Why this Brewer pitching staff has been racking up the strikeout totals. Of course, Zach Greinke had quite a few of them when he was here. But I think the ability of the starting rotation to throw their breaking pitches for strikes is one of the reasons why they have been so successful at striking out batters. You have them look for the slow curveballs, the change-ups, and all of a sudden guys like Marco Estrada, Mike Fiers, guys that you wouldn't associate with big strikeout totals, these guys are racking them up. That's one theory anyway.
And that combined with the notion that the strikeout doesn't carry that same stigma as it once did. I mean, back when you played, it was frowned upon to strike out. And throughout time, as players have gotten paid to hit home runs, as Altuve hammers one to left And that ball is fair and gone. And another home run by the Astros.
4 of them tonight.
My goodness.
Rough night.
So Altuve with his 7th home run of the year. The Astros don't hit very many home runs, but you wouldn't know it from tonight's box score. That makes it a 7-4 Houston lead.
Well, he turned on that fastball, didn't he? Down and in. He just pulled the hips open. Watch the hips fly open, and that leads the bat through the strike zone. And not only does he hit it hard, but because he did that, keeping the hands close, he kept it fair.
Cameron Lowe's really had his troubles here down the stretch. A streaky pitcher, and that's not necessarily a good trait when you're pitching out of relief. Sinker ball pitcher Cameron Lowe. Astros got a home run off Francisco Rodriguez. Jason Castro scored 5 runs, 4 earned against Gallardo. Astros with 7 runs on 11 hits. Two balls and a strike on Brandon Barnes, his first at bat of the night. On the ground to Weeks, and Barnes retired. First out of the 9th inning for Lowe. When he's on his game, he gets a lot of ground ball outs.
He gets the strikeouts with that big sweeping breaking pitch that he throws, but he's got to be able to get ahead with his fastball in order to get swings on that pitch. Barnes hit that one pretty good, but a nice play by Ricky on the backhand.
So here's Jed Lowry, switch hitting shortstop, and he rolls one over to Weeks. 2 outs. Cardinals have gone final with the Nationals. They beat them 12-2. Adam Wainwright, his 14th win. Beating up their former teammate Edwin Jackson tonight. He pitched well against Milwaukee. Had a nice game against the Brewers, Edwin Jackson. And
Jackson gave up 9 runs in the first 2 innings.
Wow.
So barring a comeback by the Brewers, Cardinals could send their magic number to 1 against Milwaukee. Can eliminate the Brewers. Brewers need a 172 game schedule maybe. Put themselves in an early hole. And Ron Renicky makes no excuses about the disappointing play through the first 4 months of the season for the most part.
And he doesn't want to hear about the injuries that the Brewers suffered in May. Able to rebound from those, although a little bit late in the season.
Put themselves in a lot of winning positions. As Lowe strikes out Maxwell, inning over, but the Astros add to their lead. Brewers need 3 to tie, 4 to win it. Bottom of the 9th coming up. have just been unable to catch the Astros tonight. Twice they've pulled it within 2 runs. Ron Renneke has seen his pitching staff give up some runs tonight. A couple of home runs late by the Astros in the 8th and the 9th. And extended their lead as Logan Schaefer will be called on to pinch hit. Schaefer hitting in the spot originally occupied by Maldonado. Lucroy came in to finish the game behind the plate. Schaefer, Gomez, Segura. If anybody gets on Lucroy. Down 3 runs is Wilton Lopez. This is a save situation for him. He struck out Corey Hart to end the 8th. Hart was representing a tying run at the time. Schaefer has done a nice job for the Brewers. September call up. He is 6 for 18 at the plate.
He's come over some big hits. Outstanding defensively in the outfield. Great center fielder.
He'll have an excellent chance to make the club next year. He's been impressive. Brewers don't have a whole lot of work to do this offseason. They certainly are going to focus in on the bullpen. One-two pitch. Schaefer lines one into left field, a base hit. I love the way he's swinging the bat.
I love the way he goes to the opposite field. A few of his hits have gone into left field. Well, Gomez with a base hit early in the game to left field. Up into the second deck. 3rd inning. Gomez with number 18 to tie the game. And no doubter. Marshfield Clinic. Shining moment of the game.
And with every home run establishes a new career high. Gomez now with 50 runs batted in. Brewers need one more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. Almost hit him right over the shoe tops. That sinking fastball from Lopez. Off the end of the bat. Shallow center. And Barnes makes the play for out number 1. Giovanni Gallardo still on the hook for the loss tonight. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 runs, 4 earned. It would be his first loss against Houston since 2009. A 13-2 career record against the Astros, 15 starts. Gallardo will have one more chance. He'll pitch on Wednesday, scheduled to pitch the last game of the season. Segura down the line. That's a fair ball. Into the corner. Schaefer can fly. He's around third. He'll score easily. And an RBI double for the rookie shortstop, Gene Segura. Brewers back within 2.
Hits in his last 3 at bats. One to center, one to right, now one to left. Going line to line tonight is Gene Segura. Well, we talk about these young players playing a big part in what the Brewers have done late in the season. Schaefer, now Segura, and the tying run now once again comes to home plate.
And now the Brewers getting into the part of the order they like. Lucroy hitting in the 9th spot in the batting order. He came in to pinch hit earlier. It's going to be a second at bat. And then the top of the order after that, Segura with his 2nd career 3-hit game. 2 singles, a double, and his 14th RBI. 1 gone. Ninth inning, Lucroy at the plate. Lucroy came up in the 7th with 2 outs, representing the tying run. He bounced out to the pitcher. Second trip to the plate. 11 homers, 56 driven in. A base hit to the outfield should score Segura easily.
And Lucroy looking for something up in the strike zone. That sinker for Lopez. When he gets it down, it's tough. Those base hits have come on pitches up in the zone.
Aoki to hit next. 1-2 on Lucroy. Best the Brewers have with runners in scoring position statistically this year. .396 batting average. The speedy Segura at second. And the 1-2. And Lucroy, a hot one, bounces off of Dominguez. Segura around third. He's going to score. It's a one-run game. Lucroy hits a bullet off the third baseman, Matt Dominguez. And the Brew Crew still alive here in the 9th.
Well, it's probably going to go down as an error, but Lucroy hits this one right on the nose, and it eats up Dominguez at third. Ball shot right through his legs and deep enough for Segura to score from second base. Kicked it literally. Hit his foot and then went out into left field. And now the Brewers in business with 1 out.
Now the tying run at first base. Eric Ferris will pinch run for Lucroy.
And the advantage of having that third catcher.
Your Vitor Alba was just signed last week, and that allows Remeke to make a move here. A lot of speed at first base, representing the tying run. That will be an error on Dominguez. Sharply hit ball. And now Aoki. 7-6. Astros lead by 1.
Yeah, look for Eric Ferris to try and steal a base. He can run.
If you're wondering, Aoki does have a walk-off home run at Miller Park this year. Of course, he had a dramatic 9th inning homer to tie the game in St. Louis as well just a couple of weeks ago. 1 out. Tony DeFrancesco called on his closer to get the final out of the 8th inning. Lopez sits down, comes back out with a 3-run lead. 2 runs are in.
Well, if you can pick one of those split-fingered fastballs to run on, pretty good chance you're going to make it. Maybe there's a fastball. Not so much.
Two 2-0 on Aoki. The sinker baller Lopez, sinker slider. And the high ball hitter Nori Aoki. Looking for one in his wheelhouse. He's hitless tonight, 0 for 3 with a walk. 2-0. Hitters count for Aoki. And a bouncing ball to short, could be 2. 6-4-3 double play. Ball game over. Astros win. And the Brewers now just one elimination game away from being officially out this year after the Cardinals defeat the Nationals earlier tonight. Tough loss. The Brewers' first loss since July 26 against Washington. For Giovanni Gallardo, he drops to 16-9. 7-6 the final score. The Astros win the opener. As we check in with Craig Cashon, what do you have coming up on Brewers Live, Craig?
Well, an unfortunate loss, as you mentioned, Brian, for the Brew Crew. Of course, we'll get response from the Brewer clubhouse and tell you how this affects the wild card chase here. Only 5 games to go, and we'll look ahead to Game 2 of this series as well.